I spent the entire day today bed rotting, and while I was lying there, I came to the conclusion that the Buddhist monks were right. Suffering is constant and inevitable in life, but there's something beautiful about that because you get to choose the nature of your suffering. There's the suffering of discipline or the suffering of mediocrity. There's the suffering of rejection or the suffering of regret. There's the suffering of conformity or the suffering of standing out. The beauty of the human experience is that you get to decide which pain you prefer. Thank you, And there's no right or wrong answer. There's simply your answer. As I was laying in bed earlier today, I was suffering. Anyone who has done nothing for a prolonged period of time has felt the dread of the clock ticking onward with nothing productive getting done. For the hours I was laying there with a slack jaw, my phone loosely gripped in my hand, watching pointless edits, there was a voice inside of me begging to get out. The suffering of rotting there felt like torture. An overwhelming sense of anxiety slowly crept over me, and only once that pain overcame the pain of getting out of bed and getting to work did I actually become productive and start writing this video. No matter how rich you are, no matter how attractive you are, no matter how big your vania dit is, you're going to feel pain. It's part of who you are, so why deprive yourself of the human experience? My senior year of high school, I had one of the most stressful weeks of my life. I had 4 tests for school, a presentation that counted as my final exam, a violin concert, and I had to worry about college apps. I vividly remember that entire week I was in a constant state of stress. I was barely sleeping because I was up every night studying, practicing, going over my lines, and writing sappy essays so I could go to college and pay $350 a semester for parking at a university I'm already paying thousands to attend. There were no breaks. I couldn't feel satisfied after I finished a task because there was another one waiting for me a few hours later. It was just constant work 24/7. But when Friday came and I took my last test, gave my presentation, and performed my violin concert, a wave of relief washed over me. I was free. No more pain, no more work. I could do whatever I wanted. So I did. That evening, me and a couple of my friends met up at a bowling alley, and I was pumped to finally have some fun after such a stressful week. And for a while, I was bowling, eating pizza, yapping about whatever drama was going on at school, but after about an hour, a strange feeling came over me. It was unlike anything I had felt before. A wave of dread hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't feel a pit in my stomach, it felt more like a black hole. I started to tune out my surroundings. My friend's conversation growing muffled and distant. What the hell was happening? I just successfully completed the most stressful week of my life. I was surrounded by friends having fun. I had waited all week for this, so why did I feel like the world was closing in on me? And then I realized I had lost my hunt. During that entire week, no matter how busy, stressed, and burnt out I was, I had never felt pain like I did at that moment. I had goals and tasks that I needed to accomplish every day. I had to push forward. There wasn't time to feel sad. Even though I felt overwhelmed, I was having a blast that entire week. I was constantly occupied. I was completing tasks that got me closer to my long-term goals. And most importantly, I was pushing myself harder than I ever had before, stretching myself past what I thought I was capable of. Pause. In that moment at the bowling alley, I realized for me, the pain of aimlessness outweighs the pain of productivity by about 10 to 1. I yearned to suffer like I did all week, because now that the week was over, I had no clue what to do. I had the drive, but nowhere to go. I needed a new hunt. The older I've gotten, the clearer it's become that the only real cure for an existential crisis is productivity. When you got nothing going on, it's easy to start spiraling. And the longer you stay in a state of meandering, the more activation energy is required to get you out of it. Basically, always stay in motion. I don't remember much from AP Psychology because I took it second semester of my senior year, but I do remember this. These are the levels of consciousness developed by David Hawkins, with enlightenment at the top and shame at the bottom. Now, I disagree with the order of a lot of these, but especially apathy. As bad as shame and guilt feel, their pain evokes change because you can't bear the feeling of either. Apathy, on the other hand, simply leads to decay because it's not painful enough to elicit action. Apathy is by far the worst state of being to occupy because it's what leads to the chronic rot that so many people occupy. Idle hands really are the devil's workshop, and when you have nothing to do, you tend to think bad things.
Really bad things.
But productivity keeps those bad thoughts from spiraling. So much of life is spent avoiding pain. But that's where the magic is. The most significant inflection points in life stem from pain. So choose your pain wisely, and then use your pain wisely. We are so back. I had to take a break last week because I had 4 midterms, but now that that's over, the grind starts back up, and I got so many more videos coming your way. So stay tuned and follow me on Instagram.